Are you popping those vitamin pills, hoping to stay as spry as a jackrabbit? Well, hold your horses, because what if I told you that some of those very supplements you're swallowing to boost your health could actually be setting you up for some serious mobility problems down the road? That's the straight dope. Some of the most common vitamins that folks in their golden years take every single day might be quietly chipping away at their ability to walk, possibly even leading to wheelchair dependence if you aren't aware of a few crucial facts. Every single day, millions of seniors all across the United States toss back vitamin capsules, honestly believing they're doing the right thing for their overall well-being. But did you happen to know that the nutrient quality in our food supply has taken a real nosedive over the last 50 years? It's like the soil is just plain tuckered out. That's precisely why so many of us are turning to supplements in the first place. But here's a shocking truth that most doctors just won't come right out and tell you. When taken the wrong way, 5 everyday vitamins can actually cause significant damage to your legs, your muscles, and your delicate nerve endings. Today, I'm going to pull back the curtain and reveal exactly which 5 widely used vitamins could be putting your mobility at serious risk, and even more importantly, exactly what you need to be aware of to keep yourself safe and sound. As a matter of fact, one of these very vitamins, when it's gobbled down in its synthetic form, can actually increase your risk of nerve damage by as much as 40%. And you might be taking it right this very minute without even suspecting the hidden danger. Before I lay bare these hidden dangers for you, I need to ask a small favor, if you don't mind. The information that I'm about to share is just so darn important for seniors everywhere that I'm going to need your help to spread the word far and wide. So please, would you kindly take just a second right now to hit that old like button and then subscribe to our channel? Your simple little action could literally help someone you care about avoid ending up stuck in a wheelchair for the big rest of their days. Now, without further ado, let's dive right into these vital warnings you absolutely need to know. Let's kick things off with vitamin D, often affectionately called the sunshine vitamin, and also one of the most frequently prescribed supplements for seniors by their trusted doctors. Doctors routinely prescribe vitamin D supplements because it's widely known to help with the absorption of calcium, bone strength, and also immune function to keep those pesky colds at bay. And yes, indeed, these benefits are 100% real and exceedingly important for maintaining overall health. Many seniors are found to be deficient in vitamin D, especially those who are living in the northern states where the sun doesn't shine so brightly for so many months out of the year, or also those who simply don't get outside all that much to soak up those glorious rays. But here's a little something your doctor might not have bothered to tell you. Vitamin D, all by itself, without its absolutely essential partners, can actually cause some serious harm to your overall mobility and your ability to get around. When you decide to take vitamin D supplements without also getting enough vitamin K2 and also magnesium, you're actually creating a pretty darn dangerous imbalance within your body. The vitamin D does indeed increase the absorption of calcium just like it's supposed to, but without vitamin K2 there to direct where that calcium ought to go, it can easily end up calcifying in your arteries and in your soft tissues instead of heading straight for your bones to make them strong. Just think about that grim scenario for a moment. That very calcium that should be busy making your bones stronger and more resilient could instead be accumulating in your blood vessels, thereby limiting the overall circulation to your legs and also creating stiffness in your joints, making you feel like the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz. Over time, this really improper calcification process can easily lead to a decrease in your mobility, weakness in your legs that makes you feel like you're walking on rubber, and can even contribute to those dreaded falls and fractures, which is precisely the exact opposite outcome of what you were hoping to achieve by diligently taking your supplement in the first place. Even more concerning than that, research is now starting to suggest that high doses of vitamin D taken all by itself, without these crucial cofactors to balance things out, can actually accelerate arterial calcification, possibly leading to a reduced flow of blood to your legs and also to your feet. This is especially and particularly dangerous for seniors who may already be struggling with circulatory issues that are simply due to advanced age or other underlying medical conditions like diabetes. What your doctor probably never even bothered to mention to you in passing is that vitamin D supplements can actually worsen your mobility and ability to get around if you're also missing these two absolutely critical nutrients that almost nobody seems to be talking about these days. So what should you do about all of this, you might be asking yourself? Well, first and foremost, if you're currently taking vitamin D supplements, make absolutely sure that you're also getting a sufficient amount of vitamin K2, and not just K1, but specifically K2, which can be readily found in fermented foods like natto, certain flavorful cheeses, and even organ meats, if you're feeling particularly adventurous. Many of the very best high-quality vitamin D supplements these days are now conveniently combined with vitamin K2, which is precisely what you should be actively looking for. Second, make absolutely certain that you're getting enough magnesium in your system, either through foods like dark leafy greens, nuts, seeds of all kinds, and also whole grains, or even through a supplement like magnesium glycinate or magnesium malate, which are generally considered to be more easily absorbed by the body than other common forms. The proper ratio is also absolutely crucial. For every 1,000 international units of vitamin D that you're taking, you really need approximately 100 micrograms of vitamin K2 and also about 150 to 200 milligrams of magnesium to keep things balanced. Finally, unless much higher doses have been explicitly prescribed to you by your trusted doctor for a specific medical condition, try your very best to keep your vitamin D supplementation safely under 4,000 international units each, and every day. Higher doses are known to increase the overall risk of improper calcium disposition, especially if you're not carefully balancing things out with a sufficient amount of vitamin K2 and also magnesium. Moving right along now to our second potentially dangerous supplement, calcium. Just like vitamin D that we were just discussing, calcium supplements are incredibly popular among seniors right here in the United States, especially with women, who are understandably concerned about the possibility of developing osteoporosis as they continue to age. We've all heard that calcium builds strong bones, and that is indeed true as far as it goes. But the complete story is actually much more nuanced and complex than that simple soundbite would have you believe. Taking calcium supplements all by themselves, without any of the proper cofactors to help them out, can actually increase your risk of developing mobility problems in at least two very significant ways. First, excess calcium that isn't properly directed straight to your bones can instead easily end up depositing in your soft tissues, including your joints, your tendons, and even in your muscles themselves. This can quite rapidly lead to significant stiffness, nagging pain, and a reduced range of motion, all things that can seriously and negatively impact your overall ability to walk and move around normally, like you're used to doing. Second, and perhaps even more alarming than that, is the fact that calcium supplements taken all by themselves, without vitamin K, 2, D3, and magnesium, have actually been very directly linked to a higher risk of arterial calcification. Just imagine your arteries slowly hardening and also narrowing over time due to a dangerous calcium buildup. This insidious process restricts the flow of blood to your legs and feet, potentially leading to weakness, pain, whenever you try to walk, and eventually some truly serious mobility limitations that could dramatically impact your quality of life. One illuminating study even found that women who were regularly taking calcium supplements without these absolutely essential cofactors had a whopping 22% higher risk of cardiovascular issues. And let's face it, poor cardiovascular health is known to directly impact your mobility and your overall independence, plain and simple. The calcium that should be actively strengthening your skeleton could instead be busy creating a virtual prison of stiff, painful movement if you're not taking it correctly and carefully balancing it out. The shocking truth of the matter is that the vast majority of calcium supplements that are currently available for purchase on the market today might actually be doing far more harm than good for your overall mobility, because they're missing these absolutely critical partners that ultimately determine exactly where the calcium is going to end up in your body. So what in the world is the right solution to this tricky problem? Well, you should always try your very best to prioritize getting your calcium from reliable food sources whenever that's at all possible. Dairy products, canned fish that still contain their soft bones, almonds, and also dark leafy greens like spinach and kale. Food-based calcium conveniently comes prepackaged with many of the cofactors that your body really needs for proper absorption and also efficient utilization. If you do find that you absolutely need to take a supplement to get enough calcium, look for formulations that specifically contain calcium along with vitamins D3, K2, and magnesium, the complete bone-building dream team. The form of calcium that you're taking also matters quite a bit too. Calcium citrate is generally considered to be better absorbed than calcium carbonate, particularly for seniors who may be struggling with reduced stomach acid production. You should also never exceed 500 milligrams of supplemental calcium at any one time, since your body is really only able to absorb so much calcium at once. Also, it's always a very good idea to double-check your multivitamins and any other supplements that you might be taking. You could easily be getting far more calcium than you realize when all of your supplements are added together and taken into account. The total recommended calcium from all sources combined should generally not exceed 1,200 to 1,500 milligrams daily for most seniors, so keep a close eye on things. The third supplement that could be silently damaging your mobility and your ability to move around is vitamin A. This is where things really start to get concerning, because vitamin A can actually be found in virtually every multivitamin that's available on the market today, and many seniors simply don't realize how easily they may be getting far too much of it in their daily diet. Vitamin A is absolutely essential for good eyesight, immune function, and also healthy cell growth. But here's a critical fact that you absolutely need to know. Vitamin A is fat-soluble, which essentially means that any excess amounts aren't simply flushed right out of your system in your urine the same way that water-soluble vitamins are. Instead of being quickly eliminated, they're free to accumulate in your body's fat stores and also in your liver, potentially reaching toxic levels over extended periods of time. So what in the world does all of this have to do with your overall mobility, you might be wondering? Excessive amounts of vitamin A have actually been directly linked to bone loss and an increased risk of suffering fractures. One landmark study even found that women with the highest intake of retinol, which is the active form of vitamin A, had a truly stunning 89% higher risk of suffering a hip fracture compared to those who had a much lower intake. Hip fractures, as you likely already know all too well, are one of the most truly devastating mobility injuries that seniors can suffer from, often leading to a permanent dependence on walkers, wheelchairs, or constant assistance from other people. Even more concerning than that, excess vitamin A has been shown to interfere with vitamin D activity, essentially canceling out all of the bone protective effects of this absolutely crucial nutrient. So if you're currently taking vitamin D supplements, but you're also getting way too much vitamin A in your diet, you might be unwittingly neutralizing the very benefits that you're consciously seeking. Here's what those big vitamin companies out there really don't want you to find out. You might very well be overdosing on vitamin A without even realizing it, thereby putting both your bones and your overall mobility at some serious risk each. And every time you take your supplements, if you're still watching this video at this point, I know that you deeply value your health and your overall independence. This information could literally save you from ending up stuck in a wheelchair for the rest of your life. So please take just a brief moment right now to hit that like button and also to share this really important video with someone that you truly care about. Your kind support also really helps our channel to reach even more seniors out there who are in dire need of this critical information. The single biggest mistake that most seniors tend to make with vitamin A is simply not realizing just how easy it really is to exceed those safe levels that the experts recommend. Preformed vitamin A, which is also known as retinol, can be readily found in many different supplements, fortified foods, and also in animal products like liver. Meanwhile, your multivitamin is also very likely to contain a significant amount of vitamin A as well. When you start to add all of these different sources together, you might easily be getting far more than the recommended upper limit of 10,000 international units, which is 3,000 micrograms per day. In order to actively protect your mobility, you should first carefully check all of the labels on your supplements for their vitamin A content, paying some very special attention to the specific form of vitamin A that they contain. You should always be looking for beta-carotene, which your body will then convert to vitamin A only as it's needed, rather than retinol or retinol palmitate, which are the active forms of vitamin A that are free to accumulate in your system. Second, if you happen to eat liver on a regular basis, or you take cod liver oil, you should always be extremely cautious about taking any other vitamin A supplements, because those foods are already exceptionally high in preformed vitamin A. Just a single serving of beef liver has been known to contain several times your entire daily requirement of vitamin A. Finally, you should always focus on getting more of your vitamin A from colorful vegetables like carrots, sweet potatoes, and also dark leafy greens, all of which contain beta-carotene rather than that potentially harmful preformed vitamin A that we discussed earlier. Let's continue right along now with our fourth potentially dangerous supplement, vitamin E. Now, we've all certainly heard at one point or another that vitamin E is a very important antioxidant that can help to protect all of our cells from damage. This is absolutely 100% true. But what most people simply don't realize is that the form of vitamin E that's found in most supplements is dramatically different from what you're likely to find in nature. Natural vitamin E, which is commonly found in foods like nuts, seeds, and also in vegetable oils, actually contains 8 different compounds in total, 4 tocopherols and also 4 tocotrienols. However, most supplements that you're going to find in the store tend to contain only one single form of vitamin E, alpha tocopherol, often in a synthetic version. This synthetic version of vitamin E not only lacks the complete spectrum of natural vitamin E compounds that you would normally get from food, but some research has actually suggested that it may even block the beneficial effects of the other forms of vitamin E as well. When it comes to your overall mobility and your ability to move around, this really matters a tremendous amount. Studies have even found that high doses of isolated alpha tocopherol vitamin E may actually interfere with vitamin K function. And remember, vitamin K is absolutely critical for directing calcium to your bones instead of allowing it to accumulate in your arteries and in your soft tissues. This interference can easily contribute to improper calcium deposition, potentially affecting both your joint function and your overall muscle strength. Even more concerning than that, several very large-scale studies have actually found that high-dose vitamin E supplementation, which is 400 international units or more daily, was associated with an increased risk to your overall health. One particularly alarming study even found that high-dose vitamin E supplementation was actually linked to weakness in the legs, and also reduced physical performance in older adults, which is precisely the very thing that we're all actively trying our very best to avoid in the first place. What the supplement industry really doesn't want you to discover is that the synthetic vitamin E that's currently sitting in your medicine cabinet right now might actually be increasing your overall risk of developing mobility issues rather than actively protecting your overall health. In order to protect yourself from this potential danger, you should first carefully check all of the labels on your supplements. Always be on the lookout for D-alpha tocopherol, which is natural vitamin E, rather than DL-alpha tocopherol, which is the synthetic version. Even better than that, try to look for mixed tocopherols, or full-spectrum vitamin E, which contains all 8 of those beneficial compounds that we discussed earlier. You should also try to keep your supplemental vitamin E intake safely below 400 international units daily, unless much higher doses have been specifically prescribed to you by your trusted healthcare provider. Whenever it's at all possible, you should also really focus on getting your vitamin E from wholesome food sources. Sunflower seeds, almonds, spinach, and even avocados are all excellent choices for doing just that. These whole foods tend to provide the complete spectrum of vitamin E compounds in their natural and healthy ratios, along with all sorts of other beneficial nutrients that work synergistically with vitamin E in your body. The fifth and final supplement that could be silently damaging your overall mobility is vitamin B6. This one might very well be the most surprising one on our entire list today, simply because all of the B vitamins are generally considered to be quite safe for most people. Vitamin B6 is absolutely essential for energy metabolism, nerve function, and also protein synthesis, all things that are absolutely crucial for maintaining strong, functional muscles and healthy nerve endings. But here's a rather shocking truth for you. Excess vitamin B6, particularly in the specific form that's most commonly used in supplements, which is known as pyridoxine hydrochloride, has actually been very directly linked to peripheral neuropathy, which is a painful type of nerve damage that can easily cause numbness, tingling, and a significant amount of weakness in your extremities, particularly in your legs and in your feet. This insidious nerve damage can severely and negatively impact your sense of balance, your overall coordination, and also your ability to walk around normally. In some of the most severe cases, vitamin B6-induced neuropathy can actually lead to great difficulty standing, walking, or even simply getting up out of a seated position without needing assistance, effectively putting you in a wheelchair if the underlying problem isn't addressed quickly enough. What tends to make this particular situation even more dangerous is the simple fact that many different B-complex vitamins and also multivitamins contain vitamin B6 at levels that far exceed the recommended dietary allowance, also known as the RDA. While the official RDA for adults who are over the age of 50 is just 1 5/10 to 1 7/10 milligrams per day, many common supplements on the market today contain anywhere from 50 to 100 milligrams, or even more. That's up to 50 times the amount that your body actually needs to stay healthy. The truly frightening part about all of this is that the nerve damage that's caused by excess vitamin B6 can easily develop gradually over time, with only very subtle symptoms that you might easily attribute to just normal aging, until one day you suddenly realize that you can barely even feel your feet at all, or that you're unable to stand up straight without needing some form of assistance. To protect your mobility and your ability to get around, you should first always carefully check all of the supplements that you're currently taking for their vitamin B6 content, including all of your multivitamins, B-complexes, energy formulas, and even your sleep aids, because vitamin B6 is often included in those as well. Unless vitamin B6 has been specifically prescribed to you by a qualified healthcare provider for a diagnosed medical condition, you should always try your very best to keep your total supplemental vitamin B6 intake safely below 50 milligrams each day, though many experts now suggest staying under 25 milligrams per day just to be extra safe and cautious. If you're already currently taking much higher doses of vitamin B6 than that, you should never just stop taking it suddenly. You should always talk to your trusted healthcare provider about gradually reducing your intake over time. Some people have even been known to develop some pretty unpleasant symptoms at much lower doses than other people, so it's always crucial that you pay close attention to any unusual sensations that you might be experiencing in your extremities. Also, you should always be aware that certain medications that you might be taking can easily interact with vitamin B6, potentially increasing your overall risk of suffering from adverse effects. These medications include certain antibiotics, some anti-seizure medications, and even some drugs that are used to treat Parkinson's disease. If you're currently taking any of these kinds of medications, you should always consult with your trusted healthcare provider before you even think about taking any vitamin B6 supplements. Finally, if you have found this information helpful, please consider showing your support by leaving a super thanks and subscribing to our channel for even more vital health tips. Let's switch gears from those potentially risky vitamins and zero in on what you absolutely can do to bolster your leg strength and keep your mobility humming, all natural, without courting supplement danger. Think of it as tending a garden, not patching a tire. 1. Plain and simple. Movement is medicine. Even sprinkling in a little bit of regular physical activity can spark a huge difference in keeping those legs strong and nimble. We aren't talking Ironman triathlons here. Think everyday stuff. Ditch the elevator and take the stairs, walk the dog around the block, or even do some seated exercises while catching up on Jeopardy! Every little bit counts. Start right where you're at. Can only manage a 5-minute walk around the kitchen? That's your starting line. Slowly build up from there. Consistency is the name of the game, not intensity. Aim for at least 30 minutes of movement on most days, even if you chop it up into smaller 10-minute bursts throughout the day. Think of it like investing in your retirement. A little bit consistently adds up big over time. 2. Clean up your plate. Heavily processed, sugary junk food can fuel inflammation and knock down muscle function. Instead, load up on whole foods, colorful fruits, vibrant vegetables, lean proteins like chicken or fish, and healthy fats like avocados and nuts. These provide the full orchestra of nutrients your body needs to keep muscles strong, bones sturdy, and nerves firing on all cylinders, all working together like a well-oiled machine. Pay extra close attention to getting enough protein. Protein is the bedrock of maintaining muscle mass as we get older. Fantastic sources include fish like salmon, poultry like turkey, eggs, dairy products like Greek yogurt, beans like black beans, and nuts like almonds. Strive for at least 1 to 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight each day. To paint a picture, a person who weighs 75 kilograms should aim for between 75 and 112.5 grams of protein daily. 3. Soak up some natural sunshine on your skin regularly. This helps your body whip up vitamin D naturally in forms that play nice with your body's systems. Even just 10 to 15 minutes of sun exposure on your arms and legs a few times a week can make a huge difference in your vitamin D stockpile, without the downside of swallowing high-dose supplements. Just remember to check the UV index and avoid prolonged exposure that could lead to sunburn. Think of it as watering your plants. A little sunshine goes a long way. 4. Show some love to magnesium. This mineral is absolutely essential for muscle and nerve function, yet a whopping 80% of Americans are running on empty. Low magnesium levels can lead to muscle weakness, cramps, and throw a wrench in vitamin D metabolism. Load up on foods like dark leafy greens such as spinach, nuts and seeds like pumpkin seeds, whole grains like quinoa, and even dark chocolate. If you opt for a supplement, magnesium glycinate or magnesium malate tends to absorb better and is less likely to cause digestive distress than cheaper forms like magnesium oxide. 5. Stay hydrated and get some quality shut-eye. Dehydration and poor sleep can both throw a monkey wrench into muscle function, balance, and coordination, all key ingredients for staying mobile. Aim for at least 6 to 8 glasses of water each day and 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep each night. Think of it as charging your phone. You need both to function at your best. Now, before we wrap things up, let's be clear. This isn't about demonizing all supplements. Many supplements, when used smartly and in the right amounts, can deliver genuine health benefits. The name of the game is understanding the potential pitfalls, using supplements mindfully, and making natural, whole food sources of nutrients your first priority whenever possible. Think of supplements as the backup band, not the headliner. If you're currently popping any of the vitamins we've chatted about today, don't hit the panic button or quit cold turkey. Instead, use this information as a springboard for a productive conversation with your healthcare provider about your supplement routine. Bring a list of everything you're taking, including the exact amounts of each nutrient, and brainstorm whether tweaks might be a good idea for your particular situation. Keep in mind, your mobility is gold. It's a cornerstone of your independence and quality of life. Safeguarding and boosting it deserves thoughtful attention to not just what supplements you're taking, but how those supplements dance with each other and your body's intricate systems. It's like conducting an orchestra. You want all the instruments playing in harmony. I truly hope this information empowers you to make smarter choices about your health and mobility. If you discovered value in this video, please consider leaving a super thanks to fuel our channel. Your financial support makes it possible for us to keep digging into research and creating these potentially game-changing videos for seniors everywhere. The more support we get, the more comprehensive health information we can deliver to you and others who need it. Also, if you're not already part of the family, please subscribe to our channel and ring that notification bell so you don't miss our upcoming deep dives into natural strategies for keeping mobile, the straight scoop on other common supplements, and how to team up with your doctor to craft a health plan that's tailored just for you. Thanks a million for tuning in, and always remember, knowledge is power, especially when it comes to protecting your mobility and independence. Stay informed, stay active, and stay well. Catch you next time.